Hi everyone and welcome to Film Log update number 32, covering most of the films that I watched or rewatched during January and February this year. So yes, we are back once again with a Film Log update video, and this time around, going through January and February this year, 2025. Most of the films that I watched, around this time, and at the end, as always, we'll kind of be going through my favourite first watches of each month, and kind of giving them the award, of course, at the end. And for now, let's just get into the video. Obviously, as always, laptop in front of me, and very informal, and just going through these films in the log, and just to get a variety of talking points, and obviously just to simply log my thoughts as always. And so with all that said, let's get into the video. And the first film I wanted to discuss, of course, for January was It's a Wonderful Life, Frank Capra, of course. And this is a film that I've seen many times now, and it's just a film, obviously, I do see around the Christmas period or New Year period, and kind of most years, and if it's not one year it'll be the next again year, obviously, kind of thing. And it's a one that just is one of my absolute favourite films. And I won't say too much about this because I have talked about it many times. And obviously, every time I do these, most of the time I have kind of discussed this film, and obviously I reviewed it many years ago. But this is one of my very favourite films. Real kind of top 15 kind of thing for me. And it's just one of the most inspiring films. And in many ways, it could be the most gentle and just kind of kind-hearted, kind of drama, really, that I've ever seen. And I think it is just, it's so uplifting, and it's unbelievable, really. I can't really talk about this and do it justice, of course. And it's a one that every time I see it, I can't really describe the emotions I get. But definitely one of my top 15 favourite films of all time, and one of the first films I saw for this year, 2025. And the next film to mention is Old School, and now this is by Todd Phillips, and I had seen it before, quite a few years ago, and obviously we've got Vince Vaughn in there, Luke Wilson, Will Ferrell as the main trio, and starting this kind of fraternity, and it's really a very funny film, this, and it's one that it's really charming, uplifting, and it's just really quite hilarious at times. There's parts where I think it could have been better. It doesn't quite live up to its potential, but definitely overall, a really enjoyable film, and I think from start to finish, it's just always funny in places, and I think just these characters and the charm of it all, and really warm film, this, and once again Todd Phillips, really definitely a fan of his director, and I think this is definitely a really funny film, and it was cool to see it again. And then we have Aliens, of course, James Cameron, and this is the one, obviously, I did say that I kind of rewatched the Terminator 2. And Aliens, and all of these films will be reviewed very soon, on the channel. And it's obviously been a little bit, since I kind of was planning to do these reviews. Didn't quite come about, but they will be, kind of talked about. Start to talk about these three films, of course, and different James Cameron films very soon on the channel. And I will get, once I've reviewed, most of his films that I plan on reviewing, and watched the main films from James Cameron, or rewatched them. We'll be doing a ranking at some point. I can't say when that'll be, but it'll be one of my next main kind of director rankings on the channel. So look forward to that. But Aliens, as a sequel and as a sci-fi film, this is just one of my absolute favourites. And James Cameron is one of my favourite directors. When he was kind of doing all these different films, of course, back in the day, and just unbelievable films, and I can't wait to discuss them on the channel. And Aliens, of course, will be one of them films within the next few weeks. The reviews are coming. After that, we saw National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. This was the last kind of main Christmas film that I saw. Just ending out really the kind of main bulk of the Christmas period. For me, and a few days into January, and just absolutely love this film. Obviously, I talked about it before quite a few times on the channel, and it's the one that I always love coming back to for the Christmas period. Definitely one of my favourite kind of Christmas films, and just as a comedy, Chevy Chase is unbelievable in this, and just such a warm family film to see, and absolutely love this one. There we go. And then we saw How Green Was My Valley. Now, this is a John Ford film that I thought was just so enjoyable, and of course, it's a film that is kind of talked about mainly a lot of the time as well, for being the one that kind of got Best Picture over Citizen Kane, and I don't really comment on stuff like that. It doesn't mean anything to me, and it doesn't matter what wins Best Picture and all this kind of stuff. I just simply wanted to check this out because I'm a massive fan of John Ford, and both films I do kind of appreciate, and it doesn't mean anything to me, but it obviously is talked about quite a bit for that, and I think it just is a really charming film, this. I think seeing it is a very gentle start, and it didn't kind of change. I think the whole film is a really gentle kind of peaceful, relaxing film, and yeah, it was just always really investing, and I think just the way it was kind of shot and edited, it's just such a kind of stunning film in places in terms of the visuals, and it's a real quiet film at times, and just one that I can get really kind of gradually invested in, and just showing this kind of mining family in Wales, and yeah, it's just really kind of sincere film this, and yeah, really peaceful, and for the most part very investing. Definitely as a first time watch, one of the best that I've seen, and one that I did really kind of have a very nice kind of relaxing time with, and yeah, just a really investing film, and definitely a kind of unique film from John Ford, in the way it was made, very different to the other films, for example, that I've seen from John Ford, maybe close to My Darling Clementine, in the way it's kind of more kind of quiet, and kind of subdued in places, I think, but yeah, it's still very different, and it's one that I do think was very warm to see. So yeah, there we go, and really enjoyed that one. And then we have Hail Caesar, and that's of course a Coen Bros film that I did review fairly recently on the channel, so you can check out my review on that if you want my kind of full thoughts. And yeah, did enjoy this one as well, and had never seen it before, so for a first time watch as well, that was really cool to see, and yeah, definitely a solid film. Then we have Longlegs, of course, Nick Cage, in this film from 2024, and it's the one that I wanted to check out, and I thought this was pretty disappointing. It's just the one that it was okay, but it was quite kind of just not too much going on in it really for me, and it wasn't that enjoyable, that pleasant, and it had some highlights, and I did enjoy Nick Cage in this film, but it sort of wasn't really one that a lot of the other elements I was huge on, and it was just a bit kind of uneventful, yeah, as I say, and it wasn't the most investing of films for me, and just some things that were in the film were not. They were quite one-sided, and a bit kind of muted as well at times. Some of the dramatic elements of this, and yeah, it just wasn't really a film, personally, that I was huge on. It was okay, but a bit disappointing, underwhelming for me personally. Then we have the murder mystery films, of course, Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler in these films, and yeah, I did review the first one, quite a while ago on the channel. The second one I'll review at some point, when other films I'm reviewing, talking about in other videos, kind of before them, these ones are murder mystery films, but I did obviously plan on reviewing the second one fairly soon. It would just be once I've kind of got through some other reviews that I want to do, but yeah, did enjoy these films, of course, and I think the second one was actually for me more enjoyable than the first, and yeah, I did find this to be just more fun, more kind of investing, and I think just some of the characters in the film were more enjoyable. So yeah, I did enjoy both of these though. They were very relaxing and just feel-good, charming films, and Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler together, it's just really nice to see, and the chemistry, and just these characters are really what made these films, and yeah, just definitely films that I recommend seeing if you've not already seen these ones before, and they're fairly basic at times, in places, especially the first one, but very enjoyable, I found to be, and very charming kind of comedy films. Then we have Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. Again, reviewed this film, and this is the one that's really nostalgic to me, and I saw this many times as a kid, and yeah, definitely, just one that is really charming, funny, and very creative, and obviously the last of the kind of, the spree of kind of direct-to-video Scooby-Doo films that I kind of, the main ones that I've watched as a kid, and yeah, I look forward to kind of continuing with those fairly soon on the channel with Legends of the Vampire, and yeah, I think that would be really cool to. It'd be cool. Yeah, it'd be cool to kind of return to these, Scooby-Doo reviews, and to watch some more of the direct-to-video ones. But yeah, Scooby-Doo and Cyber Chase definitely one of my personal favourites, within the franchise. Then we have the Meg and Meg 2, and I think both of these films, I did again really enjoy, and the first Meg was something that was just really charming. This one, and it was just kind of chaotic, and kind of really campy, and I thought it was just so enjoyable, this one, and Jason Statham, just so good here, and just as a campy kind of shark film, this was definitely something that appealed to me, and I thought, yeah, it was just so much fun, and the second one as well, Meg 2, was really fun, but it took a while to kind of get to that place, and I thought it wasn't as good, but yeah, it's definitely a film that I did enjoy quite a bit as well, and I reviewed both of these films. So check out my reviews if you want to see my full thoughts. They'll be up on the channel, of course, and yeah, it's definitely ones that I enjoyed reviewing, and it'd be cool to hear your thoughts on these in depth, and yeah, definitely some fun films here as well. So there we go. Then we have Top Gun Maverick. Again, reviewed that film fairly recently on the channel, and yeah, it's a film that I've seen twice now, and it's just such a stunning film for me. One of the best kind of modern action films, and just one of the best films that I've seen in general in the last kind of 5 years or so. And obviously Tom Cruise, in this film is just so good here, and it's just legendary, of course. And yeah, it's just a film from start to finish. I just find it to be so investing, and just so the action's pure kind of and yeah, just Tom Cruise in this film, of course, it's just so great, and I think just a legendary actor, of course, and one of my favourites. And to see this, kind of on 4K as well, it's just so great. And I think just the way this is made, this film, the action, and just the whole, the narrative of this and all the characters, just non-stop kind of investment, and action, drama, and just classic cinema, kind of stuff here. Goodness, I think it really is one of my favourites in the last few years. So yeah, check out my review if you want my full thoughts on that. But yeah, Top Gun Maverick, unbelievable, and great to see for a second time. Then we have the Fast and the Furious, of course, starting off this franchise that I've been going through on the channel, of course, the last couple of months, and I've been having such a blast with these films. And I think the first film, of course, the Fast and the Furious, this is one that, yeah, it's really, really enjoyable film. So kind of charming, this one, and just to see the start, of this franchise, and I think seeing all the characters, and just Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, and just all these performances, and just the whole kind of feel of this one, really kind of campy at times, but just really investing as well, and definitely a really, really effective way to start the franchise. And actually, seeing all the other films, even at this point, Fast 5, something I'm looking back on the first. It's really just cool to actually look back and see how different it was, and how things were being set up, in the sense of didn't really know how the franchise would develop, going forward. And now, have seen, for example, Fast 5 and the ones before that, and seeing how different they are, and how things, have progressed. It's just really cool to look back on the first and to see where it all began. But yeah, obviously seeing Too Fast, Too Furious, Tokyo Drift, of course, Fast and Furious, and Fast 5, and very soon we'll be watching Fast and Furious 6 as well, and can't wait for that. And I've got 6 and 7, on 4K as well, and just can't wait to go through these films. Will be very, very soon, trying to kind of see these films, and to continue with the franchise. But yeah, it's been such a blast to go through these, and obviously reviewed the first 5 so far on the channel. So check out those if you're interested in my full thoughts, and really enjoyed reviewing these films, and absolutely had a great time watching these films. And with San Andreas, of course, with The Rock, and this is the one that I thought was a really campy film, and just some good fun, really, and a natural disaster film, obviously, and just the one that is quite epic in places, and just really hilarious, and just really investing film. And again, reviewed that film on the channel fairly recently, and had a good time with that. And this is a really cool kind of fun blockbuster film from 2015 that I did have a good time finally seeing. This one I was meaning to check it out kind of around the time, I guess, and just never got around to it, and finally saw this film, and really, really enjoyable film. Then we have Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls. This is a film, obviously, the sequel to Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, and I saw this, rewatched it before the first, which I saw in March, and I think, it's just really cool though to see. I wanted to see the second one, and I do prefer this film to the first one. I think it's just more fun, more campy, and more over the top. And I think Jim Carrey is allowed to do his thing with this character. In a film that matches the tone of this character, and I just think the locations and all this, it's just so much fun at times. And definitely some things that could have been better, but it's definitely a really fun film overall. And I had a really nice time rewatching this one. It's just a really, insane comedy that I do really enjoy in places, and Jim Carrey is just hilarious in this film, and it's just really fun film. Reviewed both of these films recently on the channel as well, so check out those reviews if you want my full thoughts on them. Then we have Over the Hedge, a DreamWorks animation film, and I did really enjoy this film. This is a really warm, nice film, and it's just the one that really uplifted me, and just seeing this, it was just full of charming characters, locations, and just the animation as well. It has something to it, this film, that I thought at the beginning, it's a really nice start, and I think by the end of it, I thought, wow, that was really kind of better than I thought it would be, and it was something that in places could have been kind of basic and generic, or actually while there are some generic parts, I feel just in places, I think overall it's the one that did, kind of exceed my expectations, and took certain elements and, really made them very unique and charming, in a very specific way, and just a very, kind of warm film, this, and seeing all the characters, it was just, really, really nice to see this, and I did review that as well on the channel. And then we have Howling 2, Your Sister is a Werewolf, and this is the one that I kind of, of course, last year, I'm pretty sure I did mention that I watched The Howling again, the first film by Joe Dante, and it's the one that I'd seen that film a couple of times as a kid, and it wasn't really something that I remember too much, and I wanted to kind of see it again, and wasn't actually big, on that film, and I've never really been too big on it, at all compared to other werewolf films, and it's the one that I just found to be quite dull, and it had some elements that I enjoyed, but it wasn't overall really personally for me. And the second film was the one as well. It's the only one that I did see as a kid, and I remembered it being just something I couldn't actually get through all the way. Kind of watch the entire film. I made it about half an hour in, and thought, just personally at the time, as a kid, that's so bad that I just had to, I put it off, and I thought maybe I'd see it again, go back to it, but yeah, it's just something I just thought there was no point, at the time in kind of continuing with, and all these years on, finally seeing it all the way through, and wow, this is so bad, this film, and it's the one that at times, is kind of a so bad it's good film, kind of, enjoyable moments at first, but then it really took a lot out of me, and I was just kind of knocked, and put in a kind of daze, and I just couldn't actually focus on a lot of the film, and it was something that I really did not have. It was such a struggle in the sense of kind of trying to get through this, not a kind of pleasant watch in the sense of kind of so bad it's good kind of enjoyability. It was something that it took a lot out of me, and it was just definitely one of the worst kind of horror films really that I've seen. And Christopher Lee in this film, was it's funny to see him in this, but it's just such a bizarre experience, and I think just it was a really awful film for me personally, and it's just I found it to be funny at first, the first 20 minutes or so, but then after that it was just something that I thought even the kind of the campiness of it cannot save the film, and it was just got worse and worse really, and wow, what a film. And it was interesting to kind of see it for the first time all the way through, and the fact that I did try this when I was a teenager, but it was something that I just couldn't say that I enjoyed, and finally seeing it, I think it is just as bad as I thought, it probably could be based on that, first bit that I kind of watched as a kid, and not a film that I enjoyed personally, and worse than the first film as well. I won't be going through the rest of the films, at all really, and it's just something that I thought I'd kind of finally check out, but that's my thoughts on Howling 2. And then we have Silent Night, Deadly Night, and slasher film that I found to be really, really enjoyable, and I think just really quite very, very violent, this one, and quite kind of dark in places. The way this is done, really shocking stuff here, but I think it was definitely a really enjoyable slasher film. Definitely got some elements that I found to be some of the most unique in the slasher genre that I've seen, and just overall really kind of investing film this, and really bizarre in places, and funny, and the second film, Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, now it's the one that's famously so bad it's good kind of thing, and I've seen obviously the clip of course quite a few times, Garbage Day, and it was a really hilarious moment, and I think there were some really funny parts in this, but actually this is the one that even though there's a couple of bits that are really funny, and it's just a really bizarre film, and the performance of course, and just all these kind of bizarre parts of the film, I think overall it's definitely not a film that I enjoyed, and I thought it would be better than this, and more kind of campy throughout, and it was just a really, really basic film this, and a letdown, even though it had some highlights, a letdown from the first film, but it's the one that is definitely a memorable kind of bizarre experience of a film, and of a narrative, and it's definitely one that I recommend seeing. Just wasn't overall an enjoyable film. And then It Follows, of course, rewatching this film after many, many years, and this is the one that I did find to be so enjoyable, this one, when I first saw it, and I do love this film. Seeing it again, it was just so great to return to this film, and it's one that did in places kind of grow on me, even as well, and it's one that it's definitely one of my favourite kind of modern slasher films. And then we have Penguins of Madagascar, and definitely really, really nice film here, spin-off of course of the Madagascar films, and just focusing of course on the penguins themselves, and this was just so enjoyable, and it's such a cute film. I just really, really feel good, and warm, and just the animation to this was really impressive, and I thought I think actually I did prefer this overall to the first three Madagascar films, and something I just found it to be focusing on the penguins, and the way it was just so cute, and the narrative of this personally for me was overall I think from start to finish just more enjoyable actually than the Madagascar films, even though I did enjoy those films quite a bit. I think this was something that was just more for me, and in the end I thought actually I did prefer that to the Madagascar films themselves, and it's a really, really cute film, and the characters, and the the kind of journey of this. Really, really nice to see. And then we have The Substance. Now, this is a film, of course, a body horror film that came out last year, and it's a one that, yeah, it's one that I was kind of looking forward to seeing. I was quite intrigued by this, but in the end, I thought it was okay, but it was really underwhelming, in places. I think the first act for me, was definitely, much more investing, and I think after that it was just kind of quite surface level for me. Just not really too much to get properly invested in, and I thought it was very one note in places and a bit repetitive, in the way it was kind of just really doing the same thing over and over, in a sense, just in certain themes and ways it was going with the narrative. I just found it to be a film that lost me really in the true investment. I was more intrigued by the way it started out, but the ideas to this really, in a simple way, just did not, kind of get developed in the way that I was really behind, and it was just a bit, it was a bit uninvesting after a while on the body horror and all this. Obviously, it's known to be, quite a gross film in places, and I think it was done, in a way that was probably a bit too far for me as well, and it's a bit too gross for its own good, and it's just one that I thought, as I say, it was off to a really promising start with the first kind of half an hour or so. It was well-made film, this, well shot and everything, and the performances, were really good in this, but it was a one that, it wasn't me. I wasn't huge on this, wasn't really for me, in places, and it kind of lost me as it went on, but definitely, it was an okay film that I enjoyed. It was quite a long film for what it was as well, and it wasn't one that I kind of can say that consistently, I was huge on. And then we have House by Steve Miner, and it's from 1985. This is a really quite an enjoyable film, actually, this one. It's one that I found to be quite intriguing, and the atmosphere to it at first, and just as the film progressed, it was just one that, by the end of it, I thought that was a really charming, just kind of nice, relaxing film as well, and just really bizarre in places, and probably the final act, at times was, really, really kind of bizarre to me, but I think overall, it was a nice film, haunted house type film, it's just very, quirky, unique in the way it's made, and some of the performances as well, really enjoyed the characters to this, and it was just definitely, for example, Roger Cobb as well, in this film, protagonist was definitely one that I really enjoyed, and it's a really kind of rootable, kind of investing protagonist, this one. Definitely enjoyed, House, and it's cool to see another Steve Miner film, and would definitely recommend this film if you've not already seen it. Then we have Men in Black 2, and I did review this film very recently. It was cool to kind of go back to the Men in Black films, and quite soon will be the third film, in the franchise that I'll talk about as well, quite soon on the channel, and that'll be really cool to do that, and I look forward to that film. That's the one that I've seen a few times, as well, and it's so cool to see Men in Black 2 though. It's been many years again, and since I saw this one, and really enjoy this film. It's not as good as the first for me personally, but it is definitely a really fun kind of sequel, and really kind of bizarre in places, but very investing as well, and quite a cool, epic film once again. And then we have The Mummy Returns. Now, this is a film that I will be talking about very soon as well on the channel, and absolutely love this film. This is a one that, the first film, of course, The Mummy, Mummy Returns, these two films, watched so much as a kid, especially The Mummy, but, Mummy Returns as well, just such a kind of nostalgic film for me, and it's the one that I found to be, definitely one of the best kind of sequels like this, and, I think it's the one that it doesn't really get as much kind of praise, really, and, really, as I thought, it would really, and I think just the way in which this film kind of follows up on the first one, and how different it is, but really just how kind of it takes these characters, and it's just these kind of elements from the first film, and it's just so so much fun, this one, and can't wait to discuss this on the channel. That'll be fairly soon as well, and I look forward to that. And then I saw Late Night with the Devil from 2023. Now that's the one that about this kind of talk show host, and it's a really kind of quirky film, this one, and it's the one that it's really did appeal to me before seeing it. I thought that would be quite cool to see. Definitely a film that is really solid. This one, it's a good film, and I found it to be, especially the first half of the film, and maybe the final act kind of went off a bit. But the first half of this, just with the progression of this, and how investing it was in the atmosphere, and just how interesting it was really with what was going on. I found it to be really kind of engaging film, and it's just a film that by the end of it, definitely I can say that I didn't kind of like all of the final act, but I think definitely a memorable film and one that I did really enjoy overall. Name of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, and yeah, this is a one that I did really enjoy by the end of it. I think it wasn't off to the best start, the first act, but once it got going, really enjoyable, and Death in this film, it was really funny, and just once he came into it a bit more, it was something that I really got behind, and just some hilarious sequences and feel good. Campy fun. Keanu Reeves, as well, it's just really funny in this film, and yeah, as I say, Death was a real standout. There's a character seeing in this film, and yeah, it's a really fun film. And the final film of February that I saw was Nuts in May, and it's of course a Mike Leigh film that I rewatched. It'd been quite a few years since I saw this one, and it's one that I wanted to see again, and I think this is just a film I absolutely love, kind of a play film, and it's one that it's just so kind of peaceful and relaxing, and also flat out hilarious, really, from start to finish. These characters, and Alison Steadman in this film, of course, and she's just so great in this. But yeah, just the way the narrative progresses, and how peaceful and charming it is, this film, and also just how kind of investing it is, with the characters, and it's the one that is so memorable, this one, and seeing it again, just the kind of awkward moments in this, and the way the comedy's done. This is potentially my favourite, kind of Mike Leigh film, and this and another film pretty close, but yeah, I think this is potentially my favourite. It's just so great, and absolutely love this film. A legendary film that I would really recommend if you've not already seen this. So yeah, Nuts in May, the final film of February. So now we have my favourite first watches of January and February, and yeah, for January we're picking a one that I haven't quite mentioned yet. I was saving for this, and even though there was quite a few films that I did watch for the first time that I really enjoyed, and it was quite close, in the end it came down to Fighting for My Family, and yeah, this is a one directed by Stephen Merchant as well, and that's really cool in itself. And yeah, definitely some comedic moments, but it's more of a dramatic film from Stephen Merchant, and that was really cool to see, and yeah, really interesting, and of course, showing the rise, of Paige from WWE, and her entry into this, and how she trained, and she kind of pursued her dreams, and it's a really inspiring film, and showing how she made it into WWE, and it's just a really kind of investing film, and just some really warm moments in this, and characters, and so kind of showing her family. That was really nice as well, and Nick Frost in this, and he was really funny, and enjoyable and likable in the film, and obviously Florence Pugh playing Paige, and she was so great in this film, and just a really good performance here, and of course, you've got The Rock as well in this, Dwayne Johnson, and that was really epic as well to see that, and really investing film this, and cool to finally check this one out. So yeah, definitely overall the most investing film that I saw for the first time in January, and really inspiring film this, and it was just some things that perhaps were one-sided and a bit kind of basic, but just for the sake of this film, but I think overall, despite some things that I think could have been better, it was definitely a really kind of investing, engaging film, and really inspiring as well, just to kind of show how to just keep going and follow your dreams, and it's a really inspiring film, and definitely my favourite of January for the first time. And for February I had to pick The Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. Definitely a film that I really enjoyed, and had such a good time kind of seeing this for the first time round, and I did review this as well, as I've said, with the Fast and Furious films, and obviously you can check out my review of that, and had a good time reviewing that one as well. But yeah, just such a kind of a charming film this, really enjoyed the characters, Han in this film as well, Sun Khan, he was so good in this film, and just a really kind of nostalgic film, and a really unique one as well in the franchise, very different to the other films, and it's kind of set differently in the timeline as well. It's the only one really that's like that with the main kind of films, and it's one that just is really a kind of unique film this, and really engaging, and some of the races in this, and the kind of the action in this is just really unique, and quite different in a sense in the way it's shot and edited to the rest of the films in the franchise, and the colour palette, and just the kind of locations, of course, being in Tokyo. So really enjoyable film this, and definitely for me my favourite first watch of February. So there we go, that's my favourite first watches. What do you think? It would be great to hear in the comments your thoughts on these films that I've mentioned. Let's discuss these films in the comments down below. What's your favourite first watches as well? That'd be cool to do over just the last few months, whatever you want to do, and let's talk about as many films as you want in the comments, the ones I've mentioned, also what you've been watching, and that'd be great to discuss. But you can talk about March, or you can talk about January, February, whatever you want to talk about, what you've been watching recently, that'd be really cool. And as I say, it'd be really nice to hear, if you want to share your first time watches, what you've been watching, and just your favourites as well. That'd be great. But yeah, let's discuss this all down below in the comments and celebrate cinema. So yes, as always, take care and thanks for watching.